I already told before that the Rebbe, when he was Magiya the Siches, and he would write something from memory without looking it up, so he would make a note on the side to the people who wrote the Siches that you should check it up to make sure it's so. So I want to give another example, and this is in the Siches Chelik Tes, Parshas Kesovei, page 163. Now there the Rebbe discusses the Rashi on the Pasuk where it says Hashem Hemarto Hayim, and Hashem Hemircho Hayim. And Rashi says, Ein Lo Eid Mechiach B'Mikra. That means I don't have a proof from a Pasuk to exactly what the words Hemarto and Hemircho means. But then he says, V'linire, I think it's from Lashon Hafrosha V'Avdola, from the Lashon of separation. But then Rashi adds, Umatzosi Lamed. I did find a raya from a Pasuk. V'hu Lashon Tiferetz, from the Lashon of beauty, Kamei, and he quotes the Pasuk in Tilim, Yisamru Kol Pe'aloven. And the Rebbe says, it seems simple pshat, that first when Rashi wrote it, he didn't realize that there's a raya from a Pasuk, and later on, he found this raya from this Pasuk, Yisamru Kol Pe'aloven. But the Rebbe says it's very hard to say, because for sure, before Rashi wrote clearly, Ein Lo Hameid Mechiyah B'Mikra, that there is no Pasuk in the Torah that proves the meaning of the word, for sure he looked into, or thought in his mind, the whole of Tanakh. So how come he didn't remember this Pasuk, Yisamru Kol Pe'aloven? On this, the Rebbe wrote a Ha'ara. And the Ha'ara, he said, is like this, Ubifrat, sheben chomesh lemikra kva yedei mikra zeh, especially that a ben chomesh lemikra, a child who's learning chumash, knows this pasuk. Sharay emre b'chol yom revi, because you say it every Wednesday, b'shir shel yom, in the shir of the yom, you say this pasuk. And then the Rebbe in parentheses wrote, shemoker la'amira zu hu b'mesichta seifrim reish perik yutches, that the source to say this is in Mesichta Seifrim, the beginning of the 18th Perik. And then the Rebbe added, Avol b'Machzor Vitri, but in Machzor Vitri. And the Rebbe writes in dashes, Shebavadai b'shitas Rasha Rabbi Leibel, for sure, the Machzor Vitri goes in the shita of Rasha, his Rebbe. We know the Machzor Vitri was a Talmud of Rasha. So in the Machzor Vitri, Huva HaMishna the Seif Tomid, there all is brought is the Mishnah in the end of Mesichtas Tomid, and Rak Shabbos, and only for Shabbos, V'loi HaShir Atzmei. But the shir itself, to say that capital Tilin, that shir, is not mentioned in the Machzor Vitri. Which Rebbe means in the Sikh B'Meila may be, according to Rashi, that you do not say this on Wednesday. I mean, that's the pshat in the Ha'ara. But the Lashon, as I said before, that's the Lashon in the Ha'ara. When the Rebbe wrote that, he wrote on top, Levarer B'diuk B'Machzor Vitri, to check up, for sure, clearly, in Machzor Vitri, to see if it says. The Rebbe did not write a Maramokim where this is a Machzor Vitri. So like always, he would leave the Maramokim to the people who wrote the Siches to fill it in. In other words, instead of spending his time of going over and looking up the Machzor Vitri and then writing the Maramokim and then making sure it says there, which takes time, he left it to the people who were involved in the Siches to do it. So in this case also, he wrote Levarer B'diuk B'Machzor Vitri. So the people who were involved looked up the Machzor Vitri, found it, and actually added the Maramokim that it's in Siman Kuf Tzadik Gimel, and looked it up, and that's exactly what it said there. And in the second Haggadah, the Rebbe added another few words to the end of this Ha'ara, that look up in the Achreinim to Tur and Shulchan Aruch, Eirachayim, Siman Kuf Lamed Gimel, and this is not the real place to discuss this inyan. It's just brought, by the way, Derech Agav. But here we see another example that the Rebbe was very careful to be exact. That if he wrote it without looking it up, he would make sure that it's looked up. And this Lashon that he wrote here is Levarer B'diuk B'Machzor Vitri.